Good afternoon and happy Thursday to all of your sunshiny faces, guys. I ended up actually waking up a little bit late today. I woke up at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And then as soon as I went outside, or as soon as I got up, I actually made my coffee last night. So, because I wanted it iced, so I let it like sit in the fridge overnight so it was cool. And I got up and I went straight outside and started doing yard work. We did the flower bed in between ours and our neighbor's driveway. And then I also ended up going and trimmed down one of our bushes in the front yard because there was like branches that were just completely crazy and out of control, so I trimmed some of that back a little bit so that it looks kind of nice and finished and everything. But guys, look at how fast I ran out the front door to go and start the yard work. This one, I pulled the curtains back on this side and everything like that, and I've got the my blinds all pulled up. This side I completely forgot to even pull up. All of a sudden I came in here, I was like, it seems a little dark, and I was like, I didn't even fully open these windows all the way. So I completely forgot about them. I took care of the other ones, but I actually already took a shower and I just had my lunch. I watched a little TV and it's just about 2 o'clock now. But we've got the Bears game on tonight. But honestly, guys, I'm probably just gonna chill until then because I am kind of sore from all the yard work today. But honestly, too, guys, I think that that flower bed in between ours and our neighbor's driveway, for one, I only weeded it I think once at the beginning of like spring or summer or something like that. I think the last time I like weeded it was for Father's Day when everybody ended up coming over. But I ended up doing it again today, and everything though started like kind of was like dying down anyway, so because it's getting cool out and stuff, so a lot of this stuff was like starting to turn brown, so it was actually like really easy to pull out, so it probably was a really good time to do it now. But it was actually also pretty cool out today. I did get a little hot and sweaty, but it was only like a high of 77 I think today. And so it was nice though, because when I first got outside in the morning it was really cool and there was a breeze, and then it was like there were like big white puffy clouds, but the sun was kind of behind them, so there wasn't like direct sun. Then later in the day, probably like midday, when it's normally the hottest, was when the sun was no longer hiding behind the clouds anymore, and it was a little bit warmer out, but it was still really nice. It wasn't like, you know, 90s like summer weather or anything like that. It was still really good time to do that. So it didn't take me maybe quite as long as it would have if I would have done it like, you know, a few weeks ago, just because again everything was kind of starting to turn brown and was easier I think to pull out. Like everything was going to seed, so it was you know, it was like getting ready to pretty much die anyway. There was like grass chunks in there and a lot of like just weeds and stuff like that, so it was pretty easy to do. But it's just that flower bed probably has the most square footage out of any of the other flower beds that we have, and there are sections where some of the, because I planted a lot of those lilies, the ditch lilies, and there's sections where like they didn't come up really well, like they're still like really tiny. And I'm kind of wondering if it's because there were a lot of weeds around in that area too, so it was taking a lot of the nutrients and stuff like that, and water and, you know, and sunlight and whatever. But there was there seemed like there was more weeds in those pockets where they weren't growing as well. And like I said, I don't know if that was because of the weeds or the weeds were growing there because there wasn't as many lilies, so I don't really know. But it looks really nice right now, and some of the hostas that are in that bed too are actually starting to bloom as well. So we've got a lot of fall color coming around. Our autumn sedum's blooming, our mums are starting to bloom, and the one that I just planted is blooming already, and then the ones from last year are just starting to. They look like they could in a few days. And then the hostas too, our other variety of hostas are blooming like purple. The white ones already bloomed like earlier, like in the middle of summer, so, or maybe in the last month or something like that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to so far today. Like I said, I'm probably just gonna relax for the rest of the day today because I'm beat, guys. I am tired from being out there. You know, like I said, it was pretty warm out. And I did wind up sweating a little bit, but I am, like, I took a shower, now I'm clean and everything like that, but I'm just, I am sore from doing that, which, like I said, normally if I'm doing like one of the other flower beds, they're smaller sections. This one is just one really long flower bed, and it's hard too because it's like on our side of the driveway we tend to get a lot of weeds because it's right up against our driveway, so they're like, if there is like stuff coming in like in the cracks of the driveway, then it starts to like transplant itself into the flower bed, and the same thing on our neighbor's side. So normally there's a lot between, like, on the outsides of the flower bed. And then the lilies in the middle always do really well, but or they have been like this year and last year. But yeah, it's a little tiring, so I'm a little sore. But yeah, guys, probably the next time I will record will be later for the Bears game. Well, guys, for dinner tonight we've got chili, football tradition, right? This is actually the leftovers from Monday. My mom froze from the Notre Dame game, and we're having that again for dinner tonight. Chodos, are you snuggling with me? Are you snuggling with me? Oh, little buddy, are you snuggling in my arms? Was he snuggling with me?
Okay is not okay. Especially
what is with that creepy lie?
That's wireless network
Hi, Chodos. Hi, buddy.
The first step to 5G. More for your
You're just pinned between me and the couch arm right now, aren't you? But you're comfy. Are you comfy, my friend? Is that good? You're so cute. You're just staring off into space. Oh, my butt. Well, guys, I'm going to get ready for bed. Unfortunately, the Bears lost. Yeah. There's not much else to say about it other than, like, they just, like, last year they lost the first game of the season against the Packers, and it was like, you know, they looked really good, but they still lost. You know, like, Aaron Rodgers was just good in that game, you know, even though he was hurt and they had to cart him off the field, and then he comes back, and you know, and then, like, you know, you were like, wow, the Bears defense looks amazing, and like their offense even looks, you know, pretty good. Today their offense looked like garbage. The defense looked pretty good. They looked, let's say, good. Last year their defense looked awesome. This year, first game of the season, their defense looks good. They didn't have any turnovers like they did last year in the first game of the season. I don't even know how many turnovers they ended up having. There was one forced fumble maybe or something like that, but it honestly, I think they ended up recovering it, but there was like I think there was a penalty. It was like nothing but flags every other play. Like, honestly, guys, it started to get annoying. I was like, I'm just gonna sit on my phone, and when there's actually a play that means something, somebody let me know. Because it was seriously like, oh my gosh, we got this awesome pass, and, you know, it's all the way downfield, and no, wait, there was a penalty, or, you know, just like something. And there was one drive where we were back like 40 yards, I think. Yeah, so anyways, guys, it was like, it was kind of disappointing game to watch. And then too, because I guess, I don't know who needed printer ink. My dad and Matthew and Jack ended up running out and going to Walmart, and they picked everybody up some type of Bears apparel. So I actually got a Mac jersey, which I was wearing my other Bears shirt underneath that I was wearing it earlier, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw this on over it. So I ended up getting a Mac jersey, and my mom ended up, I don't even know what she ended up getting, like a shirt. Then my dad, I don't know if he actually got anything. Matthew got a hat and like a shirt, and Jack got like a shirt or something like that. Yeah, guys, so we wore all of our Bears apparel, and I was like, seriously, I was like, wow, like, this is crazy. Like, it's 100 years, like, the Bears are playing, like, in their, you know, at home, and like, we're the oldest football team, you know, and like, it's the oldest rivalry and stuff like that. And I was like, we got this. Like, compared to last year, I was like, we got this. I was like, you know, we have more offensive weapons. Like, we have, for the most part, a good amount of the same defense. You know, like, I was like, this is gonna be a win. And at the beginning of the game, I was like, seriously, I was like, okay, Bears, like, take your foot off the gas pedal, because like they were just, I think honestly the first like few drives, the Packers actually ended up having like negative yardage, like for a total. And so it was just like, I was like, whoa, like, slow down, guys, you're gonna gas yourselves. And then I was like, okay, well, like, you know, the offense, like, it looked like a little shaky, and I was like, all right, they're just, you know, a little rusty, they'll come out. And then I think the final was like 10-3 or something like that. We got a field goal, which I was like, oh wow, like, our field goal kicker got like a field goal, which is like awesome, because, you know, the double doink last year and like all this stuff. It's like the things that you expected, like, you know, or like weren't expecting, like field goal kicking was good. You know, like this thing was good and stuff like that, like, or, you know, like, then it was like the opposite though of last year. Like, the defense was still like good. They were, you know, they were good. Again, guys, it's like they're still probably one of the best defenses, and their defense played really well, but they were out on the field like the entire time because the offense like couldn't sustain a drive. Yeah, guys, I don't even know. It's just, it's really depressing too, because you have all this hype too about, like, you know, like in your town, and, you know, like the you know, these old Bears players were there, and, you know, there was just like, it was like there's so much meaning, and you kind of just came out, like, it wasn't really, like I said, the first like few minutes the defense was really entertaining, and like every once in a while, like, it was pretty good, but there's just some stuff where I was like, again, especially with the whole flags thing, I was just like, I can't watch this anymore, because like you were like, wow, like, yeah, they got that, or they did something that was really good, and then you're like, oh wait, there's a penalty, so it doesn't even matter. So like, it was like stuff that was like super entertaining, but then it didn't even matter. So it was like, what's the point in watching this game? Like, it was kind of boring. So I don't know, guys, it's only the first game of the season, but I don't know. Like I said, I can't, you know, maybe they just need to realize, like, okay, well, we have to do something else that's not working, like, whatever, or something. I don't know, guys. I kind of want to see what the press conference is going to be after the game, but I need to get to bed. So we got Jack's football game for tomorrow, so I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a gold thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.